What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Volume Podcast.
Welcome.
And today, I have to apologize before we start, so I'm sorry, but we're going to be talking about The Flash. So, put on your seatbelts. Make sure to put on motion sickness little beads behind your ear and turn it to 11.
Alright. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. We're going to be talking about The Flash, and it is directed by Andy Muschietti. I don't know how to say his name. Sorry. Muschietti. And you got writers Chris Hodson and John Francis Daly. And you got stars Ezra Miller reprising his role as Michael Keaton or Cal.
Michael Keaton as the Batman.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Forgot about that part. I mean,
It's been a hot minute for the
hottest
man,
minute,
but
yeah. Back when I used to drink from sippy cups. I'm just kidding. No, man, you look good. You know him reprising his role. I think that was probably a line from his, Batman days. You want to get nuts? I don't know why that wasn't. It made it in the.
I want to say it was a line that the Joker said, but I could be wrong.
You want to get nuts? I don't. That's let's nuts. Oh yeah, was it? Wait, no, was it his? No, Jackson played the Joker
Yes.
with Val Kilmer, wasn't it?
Was it? I thought it was.
Michael Keaton?
Michael Keaton, but now you got me guessing.
Wow.
Well, did I have the wrong Batman this entire time in my head?
I don't know. There's a many Batman.
There's a Batman.
Val Kilmer was a Batman. Oh no, he had the Riddler with Jim Carrey. Man, there were some great actors that played some of these roles as the villains. Jim Carrey, Jack Nicholson,
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger. Oh my, yeah, especially Heath Ledger. Who did that? No, who played? I don't know the actor who played the first Penguin. I always got to mix. I always thought it was Danny DeVito, but no, this guy was actually bigger than Danny DeVito, like width. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get into it, y'all. So the Flash, Ezra Miller comes back, and he is definitely. I wouldn't say a realized Flash. Well, compared to Justice League's Flash, both of them now, not just the first Justice League and Zack Snyder's cut, but in the beginning, it kind of seems like he's kind of like diving into the Flash. At least we think in the Justice League films,
Right.
but then you see in this film, he actually shows the time where Zod is in Police, and he tries to save somebody, and he has like, everybody always their training montage always has like, elbow pads and knee pads with like extra pillows for like action, and he tries to save everybody, people as he can in Metropolis to see. And I was just like, oh, this is the beginning of his days as a hero, and I thought that was really cool to see. And I didn't know that was actually where he began. I thought he began in a suit, but then it makes sense that he didn't, because just like in the series in Grand Flash, he actually had more of like a skating outfit.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I was really surprised when the Flash is actually more of a realized Flash than I thought.
Yeah. So before we start, spoilers? Maybe? I don't know. This movie's been out for a bit.
Oh
now.
yeah.
But I mean, as we go. So I'm gonna start off again, apologizing. Okay, I really didn't want to watch this movie, not because I don't like the Flash. I think the Flash is pretty dope, but because of Ezra. I think what he has done is pretty messed up. Same reason why I don't really want to watch Aquaman unless she's not gonna Amber Heard is not gonna be part of it, because of what she's done is pretty messed up, right? But I did watch The Flash, but I didn't pay any money for it, so I watched it for free, and nobody paid for me. Let's just that, okay? I wasn't gonna pay this guy any dollars from my pocket, if that matters to anyone.
I do.
Yes, and it's fine. And this is the part that man, I have like mixed emotions about this, right? I have the part of me that's like, why does this? Why did you have to do this? But then again, people are people, and people are just they're gonna do what they do.
You made mistakes.
But
That's what she was gonna say.
and this is, I was, but I'm like, it's not really a
Maybe
mistake.
it wasn't a mistake.
It was not a mistake. What he was doing was not a mistake. But I will say, what I hate is that he plays the Flash pretty damn well. I do, which is kind of a bummer because I'm like, dang, why he just gotta be this kind of person? So it kind of buzzes me out. But other than that, we're just gonna talk about the movie, politics aside, I guess we could say, and see it as a character, not as a person who's playing a role.
Yeah.
Do I think that DC is doing some stupid things with their choices? Sure, but that's up to them, and hopefully they get their own when time comes. Right. That's all I'm gonna say. But so let's get to so yeah, this is left off after Justice League.
Yes. So they had just saved world. Well, I guess the world, but I mean they were all in Russia, I believe.
I remember.
Where that's when
Justice League was
the Flash
really
was
bad.
the Flash was saving the family in the truck while Superman was holding like a whole hotel.
Was it in?
That?
Was it in?
It was in both.
No. But was it in the place that exploded, the nuclear location? Koviska. Is that where it was in Russia?
Where it was, I don't know where it was. I just knew it was in Russia.
I want to say it's the city or the town that had a nuclear meltdown and everybody had
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. Was it in Chernobyl?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I feel like that's where it was.
Yeah, but that makes sense if it was. But people live there.
Oh, there were people living there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Remember, there was a whole hotel or building that Superman.
You might be right. I didn't remember it being all in ruins, so that's why
yeah.
I thought. I mean, do people still live in Chernobyl?
Really? I believe you can die if you live in there.
No, I mean, if you go too deep into Chernobyl, you're definitely going to die of radiation.
Oh, yeah.
But I live near Chernobyl.
Oh, there are definitely people that live. Like, there's people that have.
Like, how far are you before you see civilization from Chernobyl is my question.
Right. You'd be crazy, right? Chernobyl's been fine this whole time. Just people live there for free.
It's their version of Area 51.
Right.
They just said, hey, if you come here, you're going to die.
They don't have aliens there. They have Gundams.
Ooh, that'd be crazy. But yeah, so back to the movie.
Yeah,
so
sorry. So
we're talking about the Flash, obviously, and it's pretty much. I mean, is this the Flashpoint? Is that
Paradox?
Yeah, right.
It's loosely based from it.
Right. I didn't watch the point. I have not watched it yet.
Oh wow!
I haven't watched a lot of the cartoons that have come out yet, and I know that the cartoons are so
amazing.
much better.
They are amazing.
Yeah, no, I bet. So, but I'm figuring it's based on a Flashpoint, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, pretty much the whole story is, Barry's just trying to get his mom back.
Right.
And if you didn't notice, we talked about another multiverse. We talked about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or not Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse. And so we're now talking about another Flashverse, I guess you can say. Flashpoint, that is. But it's another person trying to manipulate the past in order for them to gain something in the future.
Or stop the future from happening.
Right. And look, if there's one thing Star Trek understood well, is that you don't mess with the prime, I forget what it's called. Well, you don't mess with time. You just let it be. Right? If something happened in the past, you let it in the past. That's where it belongs, right? Mm-hmm. But Barry had to learn it the hard way, as anybody else had to. And he decides to go back in time, try to save his mom, which he succeeded at. Then came back and realized that he is no longer in his universe because he
was adjusted. It. He was adjusted by someone else.
Oh, yeah, some weird
another
Easter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like a dude that's like in purple.
Yeah. His lightning was purple. That was one thing I really did enjoy about like it, just in case you ever got confused which Flash was which. Our Flash, or the Flash of the main Flash, is in yellow. His lightning is all yellow, and then the other Flash is
The
blue,
reverse. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
right? And then you
Yeah.
had the
Flash.
speedster that was in purple.
Yeah.
So that was, it's a good way to distinguish who's who.
There's also death. There's a death. There's like they're like Death Reapers in the Flash world or in the Speed Force, and they are the ones. Like if you mess with time, they go after you. They're called time remnant,
Mm.
and they
There's always got to be something
yeah, and they kill you if you try to adjust time.
because they know better. You mess with time and you start effing things up.
So when I saw that person, Barry, when
Oh,
he
you
was
thought
in,
it was one of those?
I thought, oh snap, they got a death. I was like, oh snap, is I was like, wait, I thought Wally destroys this one because I believe Wally is became the fastest Flash, and I don't know if it was Barry or Wally, but in the comics, Barry or Wally outrun death.
It's probably
Yeah, it has to
wait.
be Wally.
Yeah,
Wally, yeah, because there was a point where Wally, yeah, Wally is the fastest.
that's what your brother was telling me.
Yeah,
And his favorite character is the Flash. So I believe him.
yeah, yeah. Didn't even know that he was the first comic out of DC.
Wally was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the Flash was the first. I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
But yeah,
the DC comic book one.
huh?
And so I think I don't know. I might have to look it up myself. I was told this. I didn't look it up.
He was told people.
So I just believe them.
He believes him.
Naive.
Internet never lies to you.
Naively believed. Anyway,
Naively believe.
so I thought that the person that knocked Barry out into a different universe was a Death Remnant. Later on, you find out he's not, but we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. So yeah, that is it. But that Death Remnant speedster person thing kicks him. What, like 5 years before he was 18, pretty much, when in the time period that he got kicked out, where he meets his younger Barry self, and you just the world just because he saved one person, his mom, right? Is the whole idea of like the butterfly effect, one as a whole, because you just don't know what impact that person may have, which is crazy when you think about it. That has an impact on everything that happened. But you just don't know. You just don't.
The mom had to.
Yeah, and
yeah.
it's interesting. We'll get to that too later. But so yeah, that I lost my train of thought.
I think that you see where Dad was as his own wife,
Right.
which is it was wild. It was wild to think. And at the time, they had like a very choppy film of inside the store, to prove that the dad was there. And so I thought, I'll just say, yo, he owns that ad. Maybe other places. I'm just like, you can't just fake it. But I get it. You know what I mean? There's a difference. Was it 20? He was a kid when it happened, right? He was
Yeah.
13 or something like that. Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe 9.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He was, yeah. His father was
Pretty much his entire existence.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm just like, man, and you obviously see that he tries to change by having.
Yeah, he needed to go buy tomato sauce.
Yeah. And it was interesting too because it was actually this is where it was a little bit like the Flashpoint. Mom actually dies from a
Mm-hmm.
or a robber, and in the series with Grant Gustin,
Right.
and
I remember
so
that.
I'll just say, okay, maybe it's like because when you see the younger Barry, what is the younger Barry wearing? He's wearing yellow. When the Flash is Barry form, he normally wears red because his suit is red with yellow lightning. Flash is yellow,
Right.
and so that's why I immediately thought like this, because Edward Thawne is
Yeah.
and Edward Thawne is from the future, from a realized Barry, like where Barry is like a dope superhero. So that's why I'm just like that can't be that can't be Eddie Thawne, no way. So I'm like, who else could it read that there were rumors that he was going to be the Dark Flash. I was like, the Dark Flash. The Dark Flash only exists, I believe, where he dies.
Hmm.
Maybe that's just. I mean, I'm pretty sure this is based off of the Paradox or the movies. Just sticking to that part. I was not expecting to see a second Barry, before the trailer. I wasn't expecting to see that, but obviously there was.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna see Diana and Arthur. You haven't seen the movie, right?
Which one? No, I
Uh,
haven't watched Flashpoint.
I don't wanna. I don't wanna.
You don't want to spoil it for me?
Yeah. There is this. Oh, yeah, I don't want to spoil it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna. Let's see.
Just spoil it. Just go ahead.
Well, you see that. Okay, you already know about Kara, right?
Yeah, sure.
So, Kara is the main Krypton on Earth because Clark, or excuse me, Kal-El, died
Right.
because Zod actually kind of confirmed that. He's like, "Oh, he's."
Yeah.
And Kara was like, "What did you do?" And I think Zod didn't do anything.
He's innocent
like, "No,
in
he
this
didn't
entire
make it."
situation. you
He's
you
like-
expect a baby to go through space. You don't. What?
Yeah.
You think he's gonna live?
You know, Zod did say in a very cynical way, not cynical,
Menacing.
menacing. He's like, that kind of suggests like, oh, did you do something to one? That's you think, but then he always talks like that. He talks like in absolutes. So how do we know he did anything? You know, it's just like actually he died before he got here. I mean,
Right.
Like we looked for this pod, we found his pod.
Yeah.
You know? And then you see Kara, and she's just different from
Mhm.
the Flashpoint paradox. Find someone completely different in the chamber, and seeing Kara there, and the girl that played Kara, Sasha Cal or Cal.
Cal. Yeah.
Yeah, she did an amazing job.
I
as
thought so too.
Supergirl.
Yeah. So did I. I enjoyed her as Supergirl.
Yeah, I was just like, I thought she was blonde. You know, I was like,
True.
you know?
Yes.
I was like, I wonder what she looked like with blonde hair. This one, and I'm like, it wouldn't look right. And it was really cool too to see the effects on her hands where she was like super just like dead, but then you see
when the sun
came
hits
on,
her and she like says,
yeah, she's like, I'm revitalized.
yeah,
You know.
for a little bit, because then she passed out after she whooped everybody's
Yeah,
behind.
yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. I'm just like, it's a little dark. Like the DC is a little dark because you can see Ben Affleck's Batman killed a ton in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
And you're just like, I guess Kara's no exception to that rule because she doesn't have that moral compass.
Well, also she has been imprisoned her entire time here on Earth.
Yeah.
By
Which
no affections for humans right now.
Right.
The only reason why she probably didn't turn on Barry was because Barry's like, we need to take her out of here. You know, she's the first person who probably showed her any form of compassion.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay, I guess not all humans are evil, right? So, but then again, she did say that Kryptonians aren't, they're creatures of peace, right? And that what's his face? Zod is not her people, right? Because he wanted destruction. He wanted to
genocide.
Yeah, he pretty much, yeah, exactly,
genocide to promote his people.
Right.
Yeah, he was treating Earthlings like. I mean, in his sense,
not even more like cockroaches. He was just like, get out of my way, homie. I'm
yeah,
trying to
we're gonna live here.
terraform this planet.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, that's right.
He wanted to terraform it.
Right.
So yeah, no, but yeah. So I mean, this whole movie is Barry Allen, OG Barry Allen, trying to get back to his timeline, right? Because he's now in this one, and young Barry Allen gets the powers because they had to go through a whole scene about it, and so it's also him trying to learn how to use his powers, and he's kind of learned them pretty quick, surprisingly.
Yeah.
Like
he's though, I believe, right?
No, younger Barry is not as smart as older Barry. I mean, he is technically smart because
they still have the same.
They
brain,
say have
right?
the same brain, but he never reached the same level of knowledge because he had his mom and he depended on his mom for everything. Remember, he like coming home so that she could do her laundry. He's like, oh, my mom helped me do my room and all. He was very dependent on her, which is kind of like you start seeing that difference between these events could be horrendous, right? Losing your mom is a horrible thing to happen, and so especially in such a violent way. But it made Barry Allen who he is. He became the Flash, right? He understood the pains already, right? But younger Barry Allen doesn't understand that at all. He's just
Yeah, he didn't
he's a
even
mama's
know.
boy all the way through and through,
He didn't know
and doesn't
that.
appreciate her.
Yeah, he didn't know that the other Barry lost his mother.
Right, right. So man, so they're trying to get back. He's trying to get back home, and so this is the best part. They go and see Batman, right? Say, oh, Batman's gonna help us, and I mean, really, this is the only reason I went to go watch this movie. Well, I watched it at home. The only reason why I watched this movie was because when I saw him in the previews, I'm like, man, this better not be some kind of like clickbait or something, you know?
Right.
But and I was like, this is gonna be dope, and it was.
Yeah, no. When I saw
And
him,
damn, does he know how to fight?
dude, I thought it was funny where he was on top of the kitchen table fighting him, and I was like, ain't no way that's Michael. But I'm gonna just say to everybody, yo, Michael got some skills. Still, you know
right.
I was pretty sure he was
His
doing
old man
some
stuff.
Yeah, right. And I was just like, wow, I thought like to make it more.
No, they wanted an old Batman.
And his back was fine. He wasn't on.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're like Batman Beyond.
Yeah.
Version.
I was just like, was it Reese?
That was a way older Batman. Like that Bruce Wayne was much older, I think, than Michael Keaton. In age.
Michael Keaton's like 20 plus from the last time he was Batman.
No, I know. I understand that. I'm saying the Batman, Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond, is like probably in like his 80s or something. To be like on a crush, but then again, it's a different universe.
You're
so
right.
Maybe.
You're right. He could be 80, 70. He was a rich dude, so
Who knows?
his health will be fine.
But yeah, so that was pretty sick. I really that was like my favorite part was like having anything to do with
the old car,
the old Batmobile. Oh man, it's just like a moment of nostalgia. It just takes you back. You're like and then the oh yeah, all the suits that he had,
old suits,
and then also the what was the jet called? The Batwing.
Yeah.
I remember I had my Batwing, and my best friend, he had the Batmobile, and so I was in his house and we just played Batman together.
Nice.
Yeah, it was fun times.
That's tight.
Yeah, I mean, it was just great. That was probably, like I said, that was probably one of my favorite scenes. And then when you start seeing Batman fight the when they try to go save, they thought it was Superman, but ended up not being. And Batman was just like, whoa. I was just like, 20 years at it, you still whooping it, bro.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I like the way that Batman's characters is always great because he always plans. You know what I mean? Like everything there's a reason as to why he does things. Like if I'm gonna scale this wall, it's because I've already thrown grenades this way, flash grenades this way, and I need to run away from it. And you just think, oh yeah, no, I'm Batman, I'm out of range, and so boom, flash goes off. Then he throws his batarang. What is that thing called? The grip. What is the thing?
The gun.
What is that?
The
grapple hook.
Thank you.
The grapple hook.
I'm like, I know it starts with the G.
Yeah. The grapple hook, and then so he grabs that after the flash stun or whatever gun or grenade threw, and he's already there, ready to punch the guy out. And like, there's a whole plan, there's a whole process into everything that the Batman does. And Michael Keaton was one of the first people to show that on film or on screen. And so seeing that again was really awesome. Obviously, props to the writers. And I do showcasing what Batman can really do was really dope. And I did like how convenient it was that there were a 2-seater behind the cockpit of the Batwing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, was that always there? I was like, I don't think so. And it's funny, you said you had your friend had the Batmobile and you had the Batwing. So I had a Batmobile, but it was from the McDonald's toys.
I had one
sections.
of those too.
Oh man, I had like 4 of those. You press on the button, and then half of it just goes out.
Yeah.
And then I used to have blocks, I just stack them up, and then.
Yo. Shout out to 90s kid meal toys.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They were fire.
Happy Meal toys were the best.
Today's toys not so good.
Nah.
But the toys from the past, man, they were. I remember having. I think I had some Ninja Turtle stuff. I had a Woody from his meal.
I had a Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah, those stories were like, so good.
Dope. And I also remember. You remember all the Ronald McDonald characters? Like
Yeah,
they
yeah.
also had theirs.
I remember those.
I was really big into Transformers, and the Power Rangers, how they could always morph into something.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe it was the French fry that could morph into come back to a French fry.
Really?
I believe that was the toy.
Funny.
It was so cool. Yeah. So seeing Batman old stuff, it definitely took me back. You know, I was like, man, I want to go to McDonald's real quick, give me an ice cream cone, and start watching this again. You know, but here we are.
Yeah. Yeah. So great stuff. Great stuff. I enjoyed this movie more than I thought I was going to, but then again, I started thinking about it, and I was like, you know what though? Because I was like, not because of what's his face, but because have not been very good movies. But then I was like, their standalones have always been better than the great. Aquaman's movie was good. I wouldn't say it was great, but it was good. The Flash was good. Wonder Woman 2 wasn't as wonderful to me, but
yeah, it was Wonder Woman 2 was weird.
yeah, it wasn't as great, but it was still I would probably say it's somewhat definitely better than Batman and Superman versus Superman, and definitely better than the Justice League. It's better. It was longer, a little bit better.
I think what they did wrong too was they didn't have a long enough run with character or Superman. They only did Man of Steel, and then right after Man of Steel, they did
Batman
Superman.
versus
Batman
versus Superman.
And I'm like, no, you should explore a little bit more of Superman. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You know, you should have explored like his origins, and because you obviously saw him in Zod.
Yeah, he sure did. Sure did.
They should have definitely made another Man of Steel 2, or is that a plane?
Bird. No, it's
Superman.
No, I agree, and that's always been my complaint about the Justice League. Is like they did it wrong. I think partially why Marvel was so successful was because the way they built it was make everybody's standalone movie first, and then make the Avengers.
A collab, yeah.
Yeah, like we're gonna go from Man of Steel to the Justice League or Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
But even then, it was Batman. You don't know anything about Batman, and I get it. We all know millions of movies about Batman, but still, you didn't give it enough time to develop properly. You just and it's a whole different actor. It would be a thing if you had Christian Bale as Batman, right, playing his role. Then I can understand Superman. But this is Ben Affleck's Batman, who apparently shoots people. That's a whole different story. I'm just saying. I
I guess Michael Keaton doesn't have a Robin.
I don't think he had a Robin in his version either.
Well, I mean, there's been time since then.
That is true.
So,
I mean, they could somewhere out there.
because Christian Bale had a Robin,
Right.
but
Kind of.
he kind of skipped Robin and was gonna go straight into Nightwing. Dick Grayson was a cop.
No,
Or
well,
was it Dick?
no, it wasn't.
It was Jason.
No, his name
Tim
was
Drake.
Robin.
You know, no.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
The cop?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it?
I love it. Yeah.
Oh.
He goes by Robin.
of that movie, you'll see when the lady looks at her name, like, oh, that's a nice name, and whatever, he go by Robin. I'm like, me? No, you don't. That's not your name. You gotta pick one of the 4 names out there. Technically, well, maybe 2, because you're too old to be gonna be Dick Grayson or Dick Grayson or Jason Todd. But you can't. I mean, be Robin. That's
Tim Drake.
no, you can't.
Drake is another Robin. Tim Drake, Jason Todd, Damian Wayne, Dick Grayson.
Jason Drake was the.
Tim Drake.
Tim Drake is the 3rd one.
Yeah, but he's a Robin.
Yeah, but he's too young. This is the first one. Yeah. Right? Who becomes Nightwing. Yeah. Then you got Jason Todd.
His name was Blake.
And then it was Blake. Robin. He said, "I go by Robin. I promise you. Remember him saying that. He goes, "I go by Robin."
I'll believe you. I'm not gonna look into it. But,
Let me know if I'm
you know.
wrong. Watch the end of the movie. You don't even have to watch the whole thing. Just watch the end of it and tell me if he doesn't say, "I go by Robin" or some form of his name is Robin in some way. And I'm like, no,
Yeah,
when?
because
Just when?
I knew that for sure that he didn't have a name. Jason, Dick, Tim, or Damien. Obviously, it's not Damien.
Damien would be super weird. It's like
Damien would be his son.
yeah, exactly.
And we would have who Talia al Ghul is.
What Agula? She's the one with Bane.
Oh, that's right. Well, I mean, he would have known her, right? Or did they? I don't remember. I gotta watch the third one again. I don't know if because apparently.
Tell me, you guys don't get taken advantage of because Batman got definitely taken advantage of by her. So just so you know,
the rich boy inside of him came out.
She drugged him. She drugged him, and then she did the nasty to him. That's how Damien came to be.
I thought he loved her too. I'm not gonna lie. I thought I could have sworn
It was not. I don't know if I would say that.
Maybe he's physically attracted. I don't know. But anyway,
that was about it, probably it. But the whole baby situation. Trust me, if you read it, you'll be like, "What?"
I was like, "Dang, careful, dog." He's crazy.
Now you know why he's always mad. But so yeah, back to that. But yeah, so we have this whole situation happening. When Supergirl finds out that Kal-El is killed, she just goes. She loses her mind.
You guys remember in the trailer, she's like, "What did you do?"
Yeah, that was the whole scene, and she just goes ham on Zod, and then gets smacked on again. And so this whole situation happens, and so here's my theory, and I'm going to tell you here in a little bit.
All right.
Batman dies, Supergirl dies. So then both Barrys are like, let's go back and try to fix this. And they evade that situation, but then Batman dies and Supergirl dies again. Superman the first time meant Supergirl.
You said Supergirl the first
time. Oh, okay. They die again, and it's like it didn't matter how many times they tried evade.
Well, Barry, the original Barry, stopped.
Yeah, he came to realize that okay, this is not good, right? But young Barry's like, no, I can fix it. And I think it has to do because he eventually heard that OG Barry's mom died. He's like, I think there's a part of him is like, I can't let that happen, right? I need to be able to fix it. So
the more immature version.
Right, he's 18. He's still hormones still raging inside of him. So you see this, and this is my theory. I think, and I don't know if I don't know how valid it is, but this all occurred because OG Barry tried to save his mother, right? His mom is died. So if you watched last week's episode on the Spider-Verse, right? One thing they always talked about was canon. You know, this is canon. This is canon. This is in Flash. It's canon for his mom to die. It has to happen. The Flash, right? And we see what happens when she doesn't die. But unlike in the Spider-Verse, where the universe, well, I guess like the Spider-Verse too, really, like the universe had to correct itself, right? In the end, say, okay, fine, mom doesn't die, but 5 years from now, right, or not even 5 years. Actually, that's a lie because no, sorry, not 5 years. He was what, 9 or something? So 9 years from now, she's going to die, and the whole world is going to go with her, right? The universe eventually fixed itself. It just took a longer time to kill his mom.
Yeah.
It was going to happen one way or the other, right? So the question then becomes, do you let one die for the many, or do you try to save the one? Which is going to be impossible to do because it's going to correct itself and eventually kill the mom, just in a more exactly. So I feel like that was like the direction that kind of like the message, like what happens needs to happen. You can't fix it, and if you do, there's consequences to that. We saw Batman die. We saw Supergirl die, and then on top of the whole world.
Right, which is why I said like so about Miguel. Like, yeah, Miguel. I sucks to be in his shoes because
Oh.
Barry, the first original Barry, he knew about it, but it was too late. And it was a really sad line where the younger Barry said, the original Barry, he's like, I just went to go home to do my laundry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
That's true.
I was just like, yeah, man. I was dang. And then you realize this is where the purple dude comes in. The purple dude that knocked Barry into that timeline was the same young Barry from the timeline that started it all after saving his mom. All three of them end up in the same spot, but one is like slowly changing into the one that's already kind of mutated.
Yeah.
The purple speedster, and he's like, I punched you into this one. I made this so I could continue trying. And I was just like, did none of y'all to get a bunch of versions of y'all and save them up? I'm just like, y'all don't play games? You know what I mean? I was just like, all right, there's 3 speedsters now. One more than the other, speedster with you. I mean, I mean, to the Speed Force. I was just like, this guy's a monster. Take him and go further back. Go handle like half the Kryptonians or something. You know what I mean? Like, I was just like, go find kryptonite. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, put a little dust on like an arrow or something. You're not killing these guys. You just, they get in severe pain and they're gonna be very weakened. Okay. But when you see, he's like, I created this. Perhaps I was wrong. And then that's where the young Barry actually dies. The young Barry dies
Protecting him.
protecting the regular Flash from himself.
Yeah. He tried to stab him with his little blade,
Mm-hmm.
Kryptonian blade.
Yep.
Not made out of Krypton though. Kryptonian as in from Krypton. And tried to stab him, but then young Barry gets in the way and gets.
Yeah, and because he does that, that guy does no longer exist.
Right, because young Barry dies. Yeah. He dies because they're actually the same Barry.
Yeah.
Right, which OG Barry and young Barry are not the same Barry. They're variant Barrys now. Mm-hmm. Right, because of that one moment that got changed, which I was, it's like, whoa, interesting.
Speaking of variants, how was the multiverse?
That was pretty sick.
It was hilarious though to see Nicolas Cage, because I remember before Henry Cavill became Superman, he was on the way to becoming the next Superman.
How can you make Nicolas? I mean,
he still had his long hair.
I know. I'm like, how is Nicolas Superman? But that was hilarious. But it was cool to see like all the other Supermans, Batman. But that
all the Batmans, yeah.
Yeah, but the Nicolas Cage Superman was too funny. I was like, what is going on?
I thought it was cool when the Flash or original Flash stuck his head out, and and then he was like, he put his head out and he saw a baby, and it was from the first scene. You see the building falling, and he's just looking out, and he's just his face, and I'm like, yo, that's creepy. Not gonna lie, but he's probably going so fast that nobody can see him.
Right.
For the dog, I believe. Dogs have that sixth sense, I think. You're going. Why show the dog?
You're going to the dog to catch you.
I don't know. The dog could probably see it. I mean, why was the dog shown in both in the beginning?
Because it said therapy dog. His thing.
That's why they showed it.
Yeah,
but he never goes to therapy.
No, I know, but it was just like this is gonna be a very traumatic moment.
I guess
for the dog.
I guess
that's how I see it.
That sounds more closer to reality than what I'm saying.
that's how I think it was just a joke that there's a freaking therapy dog falling from the sky. Right. And like, well, this is gonna be traumatic for everybody, even the dog.
100%.
Although, so yeah, so this purple bear Ash dies because he stabs himself, which kind of puts everything back in order. He goes back.
He changes one thing.
What? Oh no! I was about to get there. Yeah, I was about to get there because he goes back to where he puts the can in his mom's cart. He goes back right there until waits for him to leave so that he can go back in and take the thing out. But he talked to his mom for a little bit. That was super sad. Man, I was like, that must hurt.
Like I was doing one of those.
Yeah. But he grabs the can and puts it back on the shelf. But then, this is the part that kind of irritates me. It's like, how do you should have learned, right? Because the cans were all in the middle aisle, or like bottom aisle, or shelf, and he moves them all because that's the shelf his father was at when it was recording him. But because the cans were at the bottom, he never looked up. So the camera couldn't say it was him, and that's why he went to jail, because he had no alibi, or not a strong alibi to show that he was in there, that he was at the store. But so Barry moves them. This is at the end of the movie. Barry moves them all at the top so that the dad will look up to grab the things, and it would catch his face. So when he goes back to his timeline, they show that. It's like, oh, look, your dad was totally there. And they're like, yeah. So he gets freed. But once again, like I said, it's like, how do you not realize that such a small act, because that is no different than you moving a can into your mom's cart. Like, how do you not remember that you just did something that simple and it changed the outcome? Yeah. Now, we don't know what this outcome will be, and I don't think we'll ever know because of the whole change of the DC universe that they're doing with
they bring back Sir George Clooney.
Right.
Well, Batman Forever's Batman, which is hilarious. I was like, where's Chris O'Donnell?
So here's the funny thing. So that's what happened. Right, he starts talking to Batman. He's like, "Oh, you're not gonna believe what happened, all this stuff. You were right and everything." And it kind of sounds like Ben Affleck at first. You're like, "Oh yeah, that's cool." Mm-hmm. And then he gets out of the car, and it's George Clooney coming up to him. Yeah, I started dying, and I will say the whole time, because you see Ben Affleck's Batman, you see Michael Keaton's Batman. And I'm like, and in my head, those three are that one and Christian Bale, but I knew Christian Bale wasn't going to be part of it. But in my head, I was just like, "Man, where's Clooney?" I know not everybody likes George Clooney. Everybody always be hating man. I enjoyed it, but then again, I was a kid, and it was a lot more cartoony, right? They were trying to stay OG to how it felt as a cartoon, right?
And he had Arnold Schwarzenegger too.
And so I was like, "Where's George Clooney?" So to have George Clooney be Bruce Wayne at the end of the movie, and that was one of the who knows how many different changes he made. Was pretty cool. That it wasn't Ben Affleck coming up, but George Clooney as Bruce Wayne. I was like, oh, that's pretty sick. I liked it. I like that ending. That was a really good ending.
This movie could literally take Amber Heard character out or change completely.
That's, I mean, true.
Because Mira is Arthur Curry's wife.
Right.
Mira is Amber Heard's character.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh wow. I was like, but I thought Aquaman 2 was finished film. I thought it was done.
I thought so too. I'm not.
Well, I mean, I'll
see it when I see it.
And stuff like that, but
not the characters, the actors.
Right. And then you got Blue Beetle coming out.
Blue Beetle looks good.
It does.
It looks good.
And it's funny. You got I'm happy that George Lopez is in this.
When I saw him in Blue Beetle, I was like, "Oh, you're still alive?" Because I haven't seen him in time.
Really? Oh, wow.
I have not.
Well, you saw him on TikTok.
Well, I mean, in a movie. Oh. I haven't seen him in a movie. I think the last movie I remember him even being part of was the dog one, where he was like a Chihuahua, but he's just voicing a dog.
Oh wait, really? He's been in a few movies.
I can't think of any.
There are more.
Well, I got a few things to share, a few Easter eggs. I'm not Randolph, so I'm not as but I did catch a few Easter eggs here and there. I was like, whoa, hey, wait a sec. So here's one. When Barry and what's the girl's name? Iris were in his room, right? On a drink, she's like, "Oh, I'll take a beer." And he goes to his fridge. He has nothing in his fridge. Yeah. So he goes through the wall to go get a beer. The poster on that wall is from Shane Shang. How do you say it? Is from
Shawshank Redemption?
Thank you. Shawshank Redemption. Poster that had the hole in the wall.
Oh yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So he went through the wall, through the poster, as if there was a hole there to speak through. So I thought that was pretty cool. The second thing, right, was that give me a second here. Oh yeah. So you know how in Young Barry's world, they kept saying Eric Schultz is Marty McFly.
Yeah.
Oh, Eric Schultz. And he's like, "Why do you keep saying Eric Schultz? It's not Eric Schultz. It's
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox." right? And they're like, no, and all this. Well, it's because Eric Schultz was actually going to be the original Marty McFly. They actually taped him as Marty McFly first,
Oh, wow.
but then replaced him with Michael J. Fox in real life.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, oh wait, let me look this up because this is interesting that they kept saying the same person. So so he was supposed to play the role of Marty McFly. Now those are two. I'm pretty sure there's some more, but those were the two that I caught because it was just like, oh wait, I recognize that poster. Where's that poster from? And then the Eric Schultz. I'm like, you've said his name like 15 times. You know?
That's crazy. Yeah, like I was wondering who Eric Schultz were. Like, man, I'm like, I don't remember what he looks like. But I was just like, I'll play it.
And now I wonder because I didn't look up the rest of this, but because Marty McFly. I mean, sorry, Michael J. Fox plays Marty. Michael J. Fox. You mean the guy from Footloose, right? And I'm like, and they're like, no, that's Kevin Bacon. And the girl's like, Kevin Bacon? Oh, Bacon. And she goes, I'm like, was Michael J. Fox supposed to play the main character?
Yeah, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
In Footloose. I was wondering that. I didn't look that part up, but you guys can doing so, and then let me know if that's the case. I watched this at like 2 a.m.
I was pretty happy that Michael Shannon got to reprise his role as Zod, because that dude, I don't know why, but he always looks like a bad guy. He has that bad guy vibe. Yeah. He always looks like he's angry at somebody. And I believe there was a couple of times where he was actually not a bad guy, but not a guy either. They're cool characters too, where someone doesn't play those roles. I just think that it was cool to see him back as Zod. I didn't know that Barry could speak Spanish. That was nice.
That was one thing. I was like, Barry is half Hispanic.
And I was just like,
I'll take that, I guess.
All right, cool.
I
was like, makes sense.
Hey, we're changing
blonde.
everybody. Why not change him?
Right. I was just like, there's no blonde Barry Allen. There's no blonde Supergirl.
They're changing everything.
No.
I'm not gonna steal that. But yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some of the negatives.
Okay, I have a big one.
And we might have the same big one.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. What's your big one?
Mine was the CGI was terrible.
That was mine.
Really?
It was garbage.
Oh yeah.
It looked like I made the CGI, and I don't know how to do that. Let me just tell you that much. I don't know how to do any CGI. And I was like, why do these look fake?
Yeah. I was just like, oh, this looks nasty. It looked nasty. And I'm like, especially when the berries were together. That was the worst part. It was whenever the berries were together.
Or when they were in the whirlpool of time or whatever he called it.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, granted, I will say, because I was watching it in some low quality regular, and in those moments, I was like, this looks fake. Mm-hmm. Even Ben Affleck's Batman, when he was at the beginning of the movie, I was like, this looks like a fake Ben Affleck.
Yeah, no, even the and then when they did the CGI of the other multis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was all CGI.
Yeah.
And
no,
I'm like,
rough.
why not just get the real Nicolas Cage?
Right.
Do that,
Right. I understandably, what's his face? Oh my gosh. What's his name? Original Superman.
Oh, Christopher Reeves.
Yes, I know. I'm pretty sure it's Christopher something. Yeah, his was
it makes
okay.
Sense. His was
right, and he's kind of dead. So
yeah. It makes sense for him.
But a lot of the other stuff,
Brandon Routh, they could have brought in. Henry Cavill.
It was rough.
Henry Cavill's guy was also CGI, just like in Justice League.
That's rough. Yeah.
Why CGI? Why would you go that route? I was just like, but I was very. With the CGI, the was great. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, the movie was fine.
There were funny parts. There were some. I was laughing. I can't remember them right now, but there were some pretty. And it does a good job as the Flash. It's just disappointing that it's not a good person.
But you're right. Flash. So the Flash was a more a lot of wear and tear on him.
He's been through it.
And so it was really weird to see someone who's quirky and dorky as this Flash guy. Mm-hmm. But then again, I also remember where Flash date with Iris. there was news about Las Vegas getting him and Iris were like sitting at their date, and she looks at him, oh, fine, and he goes and saves the day. That was a very mature thing of of the Flash, whereas this Flash, he hasn't even on a date with Iris yet.
Yeah.
And Iris is supposed to be similar to, but So I was really a little, or yeah, in this film, Iris, I was just like journalist. I was like, wouldn't she
Well,
have
she's
like a
starting off.
cameraman?
She's starting off.
Right, but like I don't know exactly where on the timeline Iris becomes this reporter or journalist, but I do know that Iris and Lois are almost similar to each other, and I should also separate Iris. They're very different character and character development. I was hoping that Candace was gonna if Grant she might have turned it down if Grant wasn't even in it.
That's true.
I didn't not in a
And that's weird
multiverse.
because CW is owned by DC.
That's a those are they're like there's very minor issues I had with the movie, but the big CGI I did, and it actually lowered
Which is
the B.
wow. All right,
minus,
B minus. Nice.
almost a C plus.
Oh wow. Okay.
Cast because the story was great. I thought it was really cool that they brought back some people that and Michael, I believe his name is.
Yeah.
And it was really, or no, Michael Shannon, excuse me. And so it was good to see the Michaels come back, George Clooney, and also the Nicolas Cage. Even though it was CGI, that was the funniest thing because he kept the long hair, because I believe that was also a thing Nicolas Cage character. It was completely dropped actor. That's why I think that I gave it a B.
Okay.
B minus.
You know, I give it a B minus as well.
Yeah.
Minus, and the only, in my opinion, is George Clooney. I'm sorry, not George Clooney. George Clooney also, but Michael Keaton. I enjoyed his Batman. I thought it was great, and his fighting scenes were fantastic. I know it wasn't people, but I'm just saying that Batman style of fighting is different from the other Batman styles of fighting. But yeah, B minus.
And it was Jack Nicholson that was with
Yeah.
Michael. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
And so yeah, no, for sure. That